Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of Read With Me. I am your host, Kelly Michelle. This is a channel that focuses on reading together separately. So I will choose a book. We will read that book throughout the month, and I will post Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays my thoughts and reflections from the chapter or chapters that we read together. The goal is to read one book per month and 12 books per year together. And I want to just shout out before I dive into the chapters that we are going to review today. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on this link and having a level of curiosity to what this virtual book club is. All right, so the month of July, we have been working through Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg. So last time I reviewed chapter 5, and today I will be reviewing chapter 6 and 7. And as just a reminder, we are on a respite for the month of August. So there will be no books assigned to be read, or I should say a book to be assigned to be read for the month of August, but I will be back at it for the month of September. I will announce the book that we will be reading for the month of September sometime in August. All right, like I said, today we're reviewing chapter 6 and chapter 7. Chapter 6 is titled Seek and Speak Up, Speak Your Truth. Let me say it one more time. Seek and Speak Your Truth, chapter 6, and chapter 7 is Don't Leave Before You Leave. Before I dive into my thoughts and takeaways for those two chapters, just a small disclaimer is that in no way am I trying to present these concepts and ideas as my own. I am simply just sharing with you my thoughts and takeaways as a way to encourage you to read these chapters yourself. All right, so let's dive right on into chapter 6. Seek and Speak Your Truth. Here are my takeaways. Number 1. Communication works best when we combine appropriateness and authenticity. Number 2, truth is better served by using simple language. Number 3, the ability to listen is as important as the ability to speak. Number 4, feedback is an opinion grounded in observations and experiences, which allows us to know what impression we make on others. And number 5, sharing emotions builds deeper relationships. And there's two that I really want to emphasize, and they are number 3, the ability to listen is as important as the ability to speak. Boy, is that true. It is so true. You've probably heard, when you were younger, that's why you have one mouth and two ears, because you're supposed to be listening more than you are to be speaking. And it is so true in every environment, but it's also very true in the working world. It's important that everyone feels that they are valued, and part of feeling that you are valued is when people listen to you and listen to you speak. And I can share that is important. I've had that experience just last week. I remember being in a meeting at work, and I don't know how familiar you all are with the application Microsoft Teams. And when you're in a meeting, one of the features that it has is that you're able to raise your hand, and whoever is conducting or leading the meeting can acknowledge your hand raised so that you can speak. And so I had something that I wanted to, share and some feedback within the meeting, and my hand was raised. And I know firsthand how it feels to not be acknowledged. My hand was raised so that I'd be able to share my feedback for quite a long time. But the other members of the meeting were just continuing to talk over each other and to not acknowledge me. And so it definitely made me feel like I was not being valued. And so it is so important, and I want to emphasize that, not just in the corporate world, but in all of our relationships, that we value other people by listening to them and listening for understanding, and not just listening so that we can speak and so that we can respond, but we truly want to be able to digest what another person is saying. That's the skill of active listening. And so she's emphasizing, active listening is really important. And then number 5, sharing emotions builds deeper relationships. And I believe that to be true. Now, of course, there is a level of decorum that you have in the corporate world. But when you are able to connect and to share emotions with someone else, that allows, or I should say, that allows connection. When someone shares emotions, it provides an atmosphere for connection. And so it is important in trying to build relationships with anybody to have a level of authenticity and to be able to be honest about what emotions you are feeling, because that can be a pathway for deeper connection. So those are my thoughts for chapter 7. So chapter 6. Diving into chapter 7, it is titled, Don't Leave Before You Leave. And so this is a rarity for me. When I read this chapter, I didn't take any notes. And it's not that this chapter wasn't important, it just didn't have anything that really stuck out for my present situation, or something that was a takeaway for me. And specifically in chapter 7, she's just talking about how sometimes as women in particular, and this is in relationship to childbearing, that we limit ourselves as far as wanting promotions or trying to climb the corporate ladder, because we're in this planning mode of what am I going to do when I get married and I have children. And so that's the essence of don't leave before you leave. So thinking of all of these scenarios that could or could not happen, and that and you place upon yourself a limitation to what your career goals are. So for example, in the book, she used this example of, there was a woman that was of childbearing age, but she had just entered her career, and, in her future, she wanted to have a family, but that was several years off. It could have been a decade off. But she was asking Sheryl all these questions about, how does she balance her marriage, and how does she balance her family, and et cetera, et cetera. And so she was just sharing with her, like that's great to have the perspective of planning ahead, but you're not there yet. Like the young lady that she was speaking to wasn't even in a relationship, wasn't married, and did not have any children, but yet she was limiting her career for the potential of what could be in her future. And so she was just really just sharing about not having that type of thought process, or taking preventative actions for something that hasn't happened yet in your life. So that's what chapter 7 was about. Next time, we're going to go over chapter 8. And we are wrapping up, we're close to wrapping up this book. We only have a few more chapters. Of course, before I end this episode, I always want to leave you with a couple of things. One, take some time to read today. Read a good story, read something that sharpens your mind, read something that helps you to learn something new. And then two, if you are enjoying this channel, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I would love for this virtual book club family to grow, and grow, but I need your help. And finally, please comment. I would love to hear from you. How are you enjoying this book? What are some of the takeaways that you had from chapter 6 and 7? You know, chapter 7 for me didn't have a lot of things that are applicable to my current status in life or my current phase in life, but maybe it's applicable for you. So I would love to hear more about what things spoke to you. Thank you so very much for joining me today. And until next time, happy reading.